Chosen one, there are moments in life when something inside you begins to stir. Something you cannot fully explain. It feels like a quiet awakening, almost as if a hidden part of your soul has been waiting for the right moment to rise. If you found this message today, it may not be random. There is a strong possibility that something deeper is happening in your life right now, because the truth is this: not everyone experiences what you are experiencing. Some people live their entire lives following ordinary paths, never sensing that there might be something greater calling them. But the chosen ones, they feel it, even when they try to ignore it, even when life gets confusing, even when the world tries to distract them. There is always that quiet pull, a feeling that you were meant for something more. The title of this message may sound bold, but the reality behind it is even more powerful. There are hidden powers that God places inside the lives of His chosen people. These are not powers in the way the world imagines them. They are deeper than that. They are spiritual abilities, divine protections, and inner strengths that only appear when someone has been marked for a purpose greater than themselves. And many chosen ones don't even realize they carry these gifts. For years, you may have wondered why you think differently from others, why you sense things before they happen, why you feel deeply connected to truth, justice, and spiritual things even when the people around you seem completely unaware. It is not an accident. Throughout the Bible, we see this same pattern repeated again and again. When God chooses someone, He also equips them. Think about people like Moses, David, Esther, or Joseph. None of them began their journey fully understanding what God had placed inside them. Their abilities were hidden at first, their strength developed through trials, and their purpose revealed itself over time. The same process happens with chosen ones today. But here is something important you should know. If this message is speaking to your spirit, take a moment right now and do something simple but powerful. Subscribe to the channel and join this growing community of chosen ones. These messages are created to help you recognize what God may be doing in your life. And if you feel led, you can also support the mission through the Super Thanks button below the video. Every contribution helps continue spreading these messages to people who are searching for answers about their spiritual journey. Now here is the part many people don't talk about. Being chosen does not mean life becomes easier. In fact, it often means the opposite. Chosen ones go through seasons of confusion, rejection, isolation, and spiritual battles. Not because God has abandoned them, but because those experiences are shaping them into who they are meant to become. Fire refines gold, pressure forms diamonds, and trials awaken the hidden powers that God placed within His chosen people. You may have felt misunderstood most of your life. Maybe people called you too sensitive, too deep, too intense, or too different. But what they saw as weakness may actually be the early signs of something much greater, because the chosen ones are not ordinary. They carry something inside them that the world cannot easily recognize. And today we are going to reveal 8 hidden powers that God often places inside the lives of His chosen ones. These are spiritual abilities that begin quietly but grow stronger as a person walks closer with God. Some of these may already be showing up in your life without you even realizing it. Others may be developing right now through the challenges you are facing. But once you understand them, you will begin to see your life in a completely different way. And the first hidden power we are about to reveal is one that almost every chosen person experiences early in their journey, a power that makes them feel different long before they understand why. One of the earliest signs that someone may be walking the path of a chosen one is something many people overlook. It does not look dramatic on the outside. It does not draw attention in crowds. In fact, most of the time it operates quietly within the heart and mind. This hidden power is spiritual discernment. Discernment is the ability to sense what is true and what is not, even when there is very little evidence on the surface. It is that inner awareness that alerts you when something feels wrong, even if everyone else around you seems comfortable with it. Chosen ones often experience this long before they understand what it is. You may have walked into rooms where people appeared friendly, but something inside you told you to be cautious. You may have listened to someone speak and sensed that their words did not match their intentions. Or perhaps you have noticed patterns in people's behavior that others completely miss. This is not coincidence. It is a spiritual sensitivity that develops in people who are being guided by God. The Bible speaks about this gift clearly. In Hebrews 5:14 it says that mature believers have their senses trained to distinguish between good and evil. That distinction is the foundation of discernment. God gives this ability to chosen ones because their path requires it. When someone carries a divine assignment, they will inevitably face deception, manipulation, and distractions designed to pull them away from their purpose. Without discernment, they would easily fall into traps that could delay or even destroy what God intends to accomplish through them. So God plants a kind of spiritual radar within them. But here is the interesting part. At first, this power can feel confusing. Instead of seeing it as a gift, many chosen ones grow up thinking something is wrong with them. They wonder why they feel uncomfortable in situations that everyone else seems to enjoy. They question why they struggle to trust certain people, even when those people appear perfectly kind on the surface. Sometimes this leads to isolation. Sometimes it leads to being misunderstood. People might say things like, "You're overthinking," or "You're too suspicious," or "You're reading too much into things." Over time, hearing those words repeatedly can make a chosen one doubt their own instincts. But the truth is that instinct may actually be divine guidance. Think about Joseph in the book of Genesis. Even when he was young, Joseph had a spiritual awareness that others did not understand. His dreams revealed things that had not yet happened. His brothers saw it as arrogance, but in reality, it was the early sign of the role God had prepared for him. The same pattern appears with many chosen people today. God allows them to see beyond appearances. They sense motives. They recognize spiritual atmospheres. They feel shifts in energy when situations change. This does not mean chosen ones are perfect in their judgment. Discernment grows stronger with experience, prayer, and humility. But when it begins to awaken, it changes how a person navigates the world. Instead of blindly following crowds, they become careful observers. Instead of trusting every voice, they seek wisdom before making decisions. Instead of reacting emotionally, they learn to pause and listen to the quiet guidance within their spirit. And over time, this hidden power becomes one of their greatest protections. Because in a world where deception often hides behind confidence and charm, the ability to perceive truth is priceless. But discernment is only the beginning. There is another hidden power that God often gives to his chosen ones. And this one can shape their entire life journey. It is the power that allows them to endure storms that would break most people. One of the most remarkable powers God places inside his chosen ones is something that often develops through the hardest seasons of their lives. At first, it may not feel like a power at all. In fact, it may feel like constant struggle. But over time, it becomes clear that this ability is something extraordinary. It is spiritual resilience. Chosen ones are given a strength that allows them to rise again and again, no matter how many times life tries to knock them down. While others may collapse under the weight of hardship, chosen people often find themselves standing back up. Even when they are exhausted, even when they feel alone, even when they do not fully understand why the battle is so intense. Have you ever looked back at your life and wondered how you survived certain moments? Moments where everything seemed to fall apart. Moments when relationships ended unexpectedly. Moments when doors closed without explanation. Moments when the pressure of life felt overwhelming. Yet somehow you kept going. That is not just personal determination. Many times, it is the quiet work of God strengthening someone who has been chosen for something greater. The Bible is filled with examples of this pattern. Think about Job. His story is one of the most powerful demonstrations of resilience in Scripture. Job lost his wealth, his health, and even his children. Friends questioned him. His suffering seemed endless, yet through it all, he continued to hold on to his faith. What made that possible? It was the resilience that God placed within him. Or consider David. Before he ever became king, he faced rejection, betrayal, and years of running for his life from King Saul. David lived in caves, wandered through wilderness, and faced constant danger. Yet those years of hardship shaped the strength that later allowed him to lead a nation. Chosen ones often walk through similar seasons. Life does not always unfold in a straight line for them. Instead, their journey includes trials that stretch their patience, deepen their faith, and strengthen their spirit. What many people fail to realize is that pressure reveals what God has planted inside someone. Just as a tree grows stronger when it survives powerful storms, the chosen ones develop spiritual endurance through their battles. Every challenge they overcome becomes part of the foundation that prepares them for their purpose. And here is something fascinating. The resilience of chosen people often surprises even themselves. There are moments when they think they have reached their limit, when they believe they cannot go any further, yet somehow strength appears again. A new wave of determination rises inside them. A quiet voice reminds them to keep moving forward. This is not accidental. Scripture speaks about this strength in Isaiah 40:31. Those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will rise up with wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. Chosen ones experience this renewal repeatedly throughout their lives. That is why they often outlast situations that seemed impossible to survive. The heartbreak that should have destroyed them instead deepens their compassion. The rejection that should have ended their confidence instead sharpens their focus. The delays that should have made them quit instead prepare them for perfect timing. Little by little, resilience becomes part of who they are. And when people look at their life from the outside, they sometimes ask the same question: how did you make it through all of that? The chosen ones may not always have a perfect answer, but deep inside, they know the truth. They were never carrying the weight alone. God was strengthening them through every storm. But resilience is not the only hidden power shaping the life of a chosen person. There is another ability that often begins to appear as their spiritual awareness grows stronger. An ability that allows them to influence and uplift others in ways they never expected. As chosen ones continue walking their spiritual path, another hidden power often begins to reveal itself. At first, it may appear in small moments, almost unnoticed, but over time, it becomes clear that this ability carries real influence. This power is a voice that awakens others. Chosen ones often have a way of speaking that touches something deep within people. It is not always about eloquence or perfect words. In fact, many chosen individuals begin their journey feeling unsure about their voice. Some grow up quiet. Some struggle with confidence. Some even believe they are not meant to speak at all. Yet when the right moment comes, something powerful happens. Their words begin to carry weight. Their voice begins to stir reflection in others. And suddenly, people start paying attention in ways that feel unexpected. This happens because when God chooses someone, He often places a message inside them. Throughout Scripture, we see this pattern again and again. Consider Moses. When God first called him, Moses did not feel qualified to speak. He actually tried to resist the responsibility, telling God that he was not a good speaker. Yet despite his doubts, Moses eventually became the voice that led an entire nation toward freedom. Think about the prophet Jeremiah. He felt too young and unprepared for the task placed before him. But God told him something powerful, that the words placed in his mouth would carry divine authority. Chosen ones today often walk through a similar experience. They may spend years observing the world quietly, learning lessons through personal trials and gathering wisdom through their journey. During that time, their voice is developing, even if they are not fully aware of it. Then one day, something changes. They begin sharing their thoughts, their experiences, their spiritual insights, and people start responding in ways they never expected. Someone might say, that message spoke directly to my situation. Another person might say, I needed to hear those exact words today. These moments can feel surprising for the chosen one. After all, they may simply feel like they are expressing what is on their heart. But the impact on others can be much greater than they realize. That is because the voice of a chosen person often carries authenticity. It is shaped by real struggles. It is refined through personal growth, and it is guided by a deeper sense of purpose. When someone speaks from that place, their words have the ability to awaken people who may feel lost, discouraged, or spiritually asleep. But here is something important to understand. This power is not always welcomed by everyone. Throughout history, voices that speak truth often face resistance. When someone challenges comfortable illusions or encourages deeper reflection, some people feel uncomfortable. Even Jesus experienced this. His words inspired many, healed many, and transformed lives. Yet they also challenged systems and exposed hypocrisy. As a result, not everyone embraced what he said. Chosen ones sometimes face similar reactions. Their voice may inspire some people while unsettling others. Their message may bring encouragement to those seeking truth while causing resistance from those who prefer to remain unchanged. But this does not mean the voice is wrong. In fact, it often means the message is powerful. God does not give this ability so chosen ones can seek attention or recognition. He gives it so they can become instruments of encouragement, clarity, and awakening in the lives of others. Sometimes that happens through public speaking, sometimes through writing, sometimes through quiet conversations that change someone's direction forever. The form may vary, but the impact remains the same. A chosen voice can awaken hearts, yet even this powerful ability is not the most mysterious gift placed within the lives of chosen ones. There is another hidden power that many people overlook, one that explains why chosen individuals often walk through long seasons of preparation before their purpose fully unfolds. As the journey of a chosen one continues, there is another hidden power that quietly surrounds their life. It is something many chosen people only recognize when they look back at the path they have already walked. This power is divine protection. It is the unseen hand of God guarding the life of someone who carries a purpose that has not yet been fulfilled. Chosen ones often go through situations that should have ended differently, moments where the odds were completely against them, situations that could have destroyed their future. Yet somehow something intervened. The outcome changed, the danger passed, the door opened at the last possible moment. When chosen people reflect on these moments, they often realize something powerful. They were protected, even when they didn't know it. Many of them have stories they cannot fully explain. Maybe there was a time when they almost went down a path that would have led to serious trouble, but something inside stopped them. Maybe they missed an opportunity that seemed perfect at the time, only to later discover that it would have created major problems. Or perhaps they faced a moment of physical danger, illness, or unexpected crisis. Yet somehow they came through it stronger than before. These experiences are not always random. Throughout the Bible, we see countless examples of God protecting those he has chosen. Think about Joseph. When his brothers betrayed him, they planned something far worse than what ultimately happened. Yet at the last moment, the situation changed and Joseph was sold into slavery instead of losing his life. What looked like tragedy at the time later became the very path that led him to his destiny. Or consider Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel remained faithful to God, even when powerful leaders tried to destroy him. They arranged a punishment that should have guaranteed his death. Yet God protected him in a way that stunned everyone who witnessed it. The lions never touched him. The story became a powerful reminder that when someone is walking within the purpose God has given them, there are protections that operate beyond human understanding. Chosen ones today often experience this in quieter ways, but the principle remains the same. There may be people who try to harm them through jealousy or manipulation, yet their plans fail. There may be situations designed to trap them, yet something unexpected shifts the outcome. There may be moments when they feel surrounded by pressure, yet somehow the storm passes before it can completely destroy them. This does not mean chosen ones never face hardship. In fact, their path often includes intense challenges. But the difference is that many times, when the battle seems like it will end everything, something intervenes. A conversation changes, a delay happens, an opportunity appears. A sudden realization redirects their path, and later they realize that those small moments completely altered their future. Psalm 91 speaks directly about this kind of protection. It describes how those who trust in God are covered under his care, shielded in ways that cannot always be seen by the human eye. For chosen ones, this protection is often connected to their assignment. Their life has meaning, their story has purpose, and until that purpose is fulfilled, there are times when God quietly steps in to guard the path ahead of them. Many chosen people only recognize this pattern after years have passed. When they pause and reflect on their life journey, they begin to see a series of moments where things could have gone terribly wrong, yet somehow they were guided through safely. It is in those reflections that they start to understand something deeply comforting. They were never walking alone, and this realization strengthens their faith for the road ahead. But divine protection is only one of the hidden powers given to those who are chosen. There is another ability that begins to emerge as their spiritual maturity grows, an ability that allows them to perceive meaning and direction in ways that most people never notice. One of the most mysterious powers God places inside the life of a chosen one is the ability to see something that most people cannot see. Where others see only pain, the chosen ones eventually begin to see purpose. This ability rarely appears at the beginning of the journey. In fact, during the early stages of life, chosen individuals often struggle deeply with the very experiences that will later shape them. They may go through rejection that leaves lasting scars. They may face betrayal from people they trusted. They may experience seasons of loneliness where it feels like no one truly understands them. And during those moments, the pain feels real. The confusion feels overwhelming. The questions feel endless. Why is this happening to me? Why does my path seem harder than everyone else's? Why do the same patterns keep appearing in my life? Many chosen ones carry these questions quietly for years, but as their spiritual awareness grows, something remarkable begins to happen. They start noticing connections between their past struggles and the wisdom they now carry. The heartbreak that once felt meaningless begins to reveal a lesson. The rejection that once felt humiliating begins to show them how to value their true identity. The loneliness that once felt unbearable begins to teach them how to connect deeply with God. Slowly, the pieces start to come together. This is when chosen ones realize something profound. Their pain was not wasted. Every difficult season was shaping them. Every obstacle was preparing them. Every challenge was strengthening a part of them that would later become essential for their purpose. The Bible reveals this principle through many powerful stories. Joseph is one of the clearest examples. His life seemed filled with betrayal and injustice. His own brothers sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused and imprisoned. Years passed while he remained trapped in circumstances he did not deserve. But later, when Joseph finally rose to a position of influence, he understood something extraordinary. He told his brothers that what they intended for harm, God used for good. That statement reveals the heart of this hidden power. Chosen ones eventually develop the ability to look at their past and see God's hand even in the darkest chapters. They begin to understand that their struggles created empathy that allows them to help others. Their failures taught humility. Their hardships strengthened their faith. And the lessons they learned through suffering gave them insight that cannot be learned any other way. This perspective transforms how they face new challenges. Instead of immediately assuming that every hardship is meaningless, they begin asking deeper questions. What is this season teaching me? How is this shaping who I am becoming? Where might this experience lead me in the future? This mindset does not remove pain completely. Chosen ones still feel deeply. They still experience disappointment, loss, and frustration like everyone else. But the difference is that they no longer see pain as the end of the story. They begin to recognize that God often uses the hardest chapters to prepare the most meaningful breakthroughs. Romans 8:28 reflects this truth clearly. All things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. For chosen ones, that verse often becomes a living reality. They start to see patterns where others see chaos. They start to see preparation where others see punishment. They start to see purpose where others see only suffering. And once this hidden power awakens, it changes the way they walk through life. Because they understand something that many people never realize. The very experiences that once felt like they were breaking them were actually building them. But there is still another hidden power that often develops as chosen ones grow closer to their divine assignment. It is one of the most powerful abilities God gives to those he calls. As the journey of a chosen one unfolds, there is one hidden power that eventually becomes impossible to ignore. It is not loud. It does not force itself on you. Yet it continues to return again and again, gently guiding your life in a certain direction. This power is the divine pull toward your true assignment. Many chosen ones experience this long before they fully understand what it means. It shows up as a quiet but persistent sense that their life has a deeper purpose. Even when they try to live like everyone else, even when they attempt to follow ordinary paths, something inside them continues to whisper that they were meant for something more. Have you ever felt that way? Maybe you tried to blend in with the crowd, but it never felt completely right. Maybe you pursued opportunities that looked successful on the outside, yet deep inside there was still a feeling that something was missing. Chosen ones often wrestle with this feeling for years. It is the sense that their life is connected to something greater than comfort, routine, or social expectations. They may not know exactly what their assignment is yet, but they can feel the direction pulling them forward. The Bible shows this pattern clearly in the lives of many people God called. Think about Jonah. When God gave him an assignment, Jonah tried to run in the opposite direction. He boarded a ship and attempted to escape the responsibility placed on his life. But no matter how far he tried to go, the call of God followed him. Eventually, Jonah realized that his peace would only return when he embraced the purpose he had been given. The same principle appears in the story of Esther. She began her journey as an ordinary young woman, but circumstances placed her in a position of influence. When a moment of crisis arrived, she faced a powerful realization. She had been placed in that position for such a time as this. Chosen ones today often go through a similar awakening. At first, the pull toward their purpose may feel confusing. They may explore different paths, try different roles, and search for where they truly belong. Sometimes this process takes years, but during that time, God is shaping their character, building their wisdom, and preparing them for the moment when their assignment becomes clear. This preparation period is extremely important. Many chosen ones become frustrated because they want immediate clarity. They want to know exactly what they are meant to do and how everything will unfold. But God rarely reveals the entire path at once. Instead, He reveals it step by step. Each lesson prepares them for the next level. Each experience strengthens a new skill. Each challenge deepens their faith. And slowly, the direction becomes clearer. The chosen ones begin to notice that certain opportunities align with their spirit while others do not. They start feeling drawn towards specific missions, ideas, or ways of helping others. Sometimes it appears as a desire to guide people spiritually. Sometimes it appears as a calling to create, teach, lead, or encourage. Sometimes it appears as a passion for protecting truth, justice, or faith in a world that often ignores those values. The form of the assignment may vary, but the inner pull feels unmistakable. And here is something important to understand. This power does not disappear once you recognize it. In fact, it becomes stronger. The more a chosen person listens to that divine guidance, the clearer their direction becomes. Doors begin to open in unexpected ways. The right connections appear. The right moments arrive at exactly the right time. What once felt uncertain begins to make sense. Looking back, the chosen ones realize that every step of their journey was quietly leading them toward this purpose. The struggles shaped their strength. The isolation sharpened their clarity. The lessons prepared their wisdom. And the hidden powers God placed inside them were never random. They were tools designed to help them walk boldly into the assignment they were created to fulfill. And when that realization finally settles into the heart of a chosen one, everything begins to change, because they understand something powerful at last. They were never just surviving life, they were being prepared for it.